Hello, friends. Welcome to Take Two for this Wednesday, the 15th of July, 2026. I'm Jeannie, and I'm so glad you've decided to come along for the ride on this hump day. Well, I was talking to a friend the other day who said that she's a church friend of mine. And she said that someone came up to her. She said it was the strangest thing because this gal has no relatives anywhere in the area. As a matter of fact, she only has a couple of extended relatives and they live on the other side of America. So they're nowhere near, and she just doesn't have anybody close to her that's related to her in this area. Well, it's very interesting because she said that someone said to her, "Oh," she says, "I feel so bad for you." She said, "Why?" She said, "Because you don't have any family anywhere here, and it must be really hard." Well, my friend answered her very quickly, and she said, "What do you mean I don't have any family?" She said, "Well, don't you have just a few relatives that are like out on the West Coast or something?" She said, "Yes, that's right." She says, "But that doesn't mean I don't have family." She said, "Well, what do you mean?" She said, "Well, what about the fact that my church is my family?" She said, "There's not one person in that church who wouldn't be there for me if I needed them for whatever reason there was. If I was sick or if I needed a ride somewhere or whatever it might be, they are there for me, not just the pastor and his wife, but anyone in the church, because that's my family." So what is family, boys and girls? Well, I know I had a good friend who had belonged to a sorority while she was at university. And she had one time I went over to her apartment and she had this photo right on the prominently displayed. And it was all these gals, young gals, and they're, probably 19, 20, 21, all wearing the same dress. And they were like all together in a big group smiling. And I said, "Oh, what is this? It's too many to be bridesmaids. What is this?" She said, "Oh, no, those are my sorority sisters." I said, "Oh," I said, "but didn't you graduate college years ago?" She said, "Yes. And every single one of us keep in touch with one another. And we even have had a couple of reunions since I graduated college 12, 14 years ago, whatever it was." And I said, "That's wonderful." She says, "They will always be my sisters." See, there's lots of ways we can have family. And if maybe you're feeling sorry for yourself because you don't have any relatives nearby, I know I've gone through that quite a bit because my closest relative is 400 miles away from me. And my other closer relatives that I feel closest with, my sibling and so on, they're like 1,000 miles away from me. And Michael's family is mostly 3,000 miles away. So it is hard sometimes. We did recently have an opportunity to visit his sister who lives all the way in Oregon. And we got there and we visited with her, and he hadn't seen her in 20 plus years. We're still all family, but it's hard when you're all scattered in different places. There's 5 siblings in his family and all living in 5 different places. So it can be a challenge. But family is what you make it, boys and girls. It doesn't necessarily have to be a blood brother or sister or parent or child or grandchild, although those are all wonderful things. But sometimes, especially if you find yourself without any relatives nearby or at all, to say that there is a group of people, whether it's club members. I know somebody who went through the Alcoholics Anonymous program, and he said, "Oh, those are all my sober buddies because they're my family, because they all had that in common with one another, and it'll be something that'll always be special in their hearts." So if you're feeling sorry that you don't have family, just remember, boys and girls, family is what you make it. And there's lots and lots of ways that you can be in a family. Now go out and be a blessing to somebody today, because you may end up being the only one who is. And if you know somebody who needs a family, maybe you're the one who's going to be family to them. Now listen, don't forget, please subscribe to this YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. It's Jeanne Sigler, JeanneSigler. Hit the subscribe button, that notification bell, give me a thumbs up, helps with the algorithms, and I will notify you every time another Take Two is posting. And don't forget also to follow me on X. It's the little @ sign, Jeannie NY Woman, at JEANNE NY Woman. Hit follow, give me a thumbs up, and please, either one of those platforms, feel free to leave me a comment. I love when I get those comments from you. Please tune into my program, Eyes of a New York Woman, every Saturday at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, AM and PM. And you can hear my program, and I hope you will enjoy it. It's on ultimateoldiesradio.com. Okay, I love y'all. God bless. And remember, you, my friends, my Take Two family, are near and dear to me. I love you, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.